What's up, guys? It's Gage. So today we're gonna do a little video on the 740 and some of the things that we got done on it, just to wrap up from the last videos. So I ended up going to Swedish and scored a couple of good things. I got a headliner from a 940 non-sunroof car, got that put in. Did have an issue with the passenger seat belt. It locked up and it won't unlock at all. So I got to go back and get me a passenger seat belt. But simple enough, get it done, it'd be all right. Also got the cooling fan wired up, so I'll show you how that's all wired in and basically go over that, hopefully help you get yours wired up. It's not done yet, but it's enough to where I can use it and drive it daily. So we'll jump right into looking at what we got done. So as you can see, we got the cooling fan put in. The clearances are just enough to be golden on running it. Doesn't hit anything, so we're good there. As far as the wiring goes, let me pull this out so I can show you what I did. There we go. All right. So on the wiring, as you can see, we use the 940 cooling fan relay. That's the plug that goes to the fan. It's your high and low speed wires, your main power wire, and the from like a thermal switch, these would be the ones you would use. So number one, which is the blue wire, that is low speed, the white is high speed. And the way that works is, this is like a relay control assembly altogether. So you don't need to put a relay or anything besides the inline fuse on this main power feed. So I ran that straight to the battery like the 940 is. And plug that straight to the fan, grounded the fan out. And on these two wires here, so you would have a would be a 3-terminal thermal switch, and you would have one that is grounded out to the chassis, and you'd have one of these going to like the low temperature, so low speed would go to like the low temperature part of the switch terminal, and the high temperature part would go to the 2-speed, the high speed. And that would basically, when the temp got to the first temperature setting, it would kick it on low speed. When it got to the hot setting, it would kick it on high speed. But I have mine on a switch, which I'll show you the switch that I used. Let me put this back down in there. I mounted it in a somewhat factory spot, like the 940s have. As you can see, I have it mounted just right down there. So the switches that I used, let me go in my toolbox real quick. Let's see, we have, where are my switches? Right here? Ah, there we go. Okay. So what I used for the switch in the cab, just so I can drive it for now, is one of these switches you can get off of Amazon, a pack of like 10 or 5 or whatever. It's a 3-position or 2-position. It has 3 terminals on the back. So the middle one is the one that you would, like in this case, ground to the chassis. And then this one here is going to be for the high speed, and that'll be for the low speed. So you'd flip it on the high speed, that terminal there would be the one that's active. Low speed is that terminal there. It's opposite of the logo on there. Oh, little ant, get out of here. So yeah, super simple, cheap switch. If you need to just wire it to a switch, in my case, I'm leaving the switch there, but I'm going to end up wiring in a thermal switch from like an early BMW. It's a real common swap. If you guys look up on Google, you'd find it. It's just basically a thermal switch with 3 positions, has one that grounds the chassis, and then obviously low temp, high temp. So I'm leaving this in the car, so when it's really hot outside and I want the fan to run all the time, then I can leave it on speed 2 or speed 1 and keep the engine nice and cool. Don't want any overheating on this motor. So it should keep it just below operating temp. So if you want to do that, you can wire the switch in and you can wire the thermal one in. Basically just have the thermal wired to those, middle plug on that relay control, and you just have this T off of those so you could bypass it anytime you needed. So that's one way to do it. That's the way I did it. Works pretty good. I'll show you the switch in the cab and show you how it functions. Let's see, where are my keys? There we go. So I mounted the switch right there. Just easy to access, and it looks somewhat factory, not 100%, but somewhat. So we'll turn the key on, and it's off now. This will be low speed. I don't know if you can hear the fan, but it's running low speed. You should hear a pitch change when we go to high speed. So it runs high speed. Then you can just turn it off. Just this way, if you do it, just remember to turn it on until you get the thermal switch in there. If you don't turn it on, you're definitely gonna overheat. But I've had a couple of cars that have had fans on the switch, like my LS Swap Cherokee, and I'd always first thing, you know, hit that and turn it on. Or you can just leave it on all the time. Just have that too, like an ignition source, like your main power for that relay, so the relay doesn't get power unless the ignition's on. So I got that done. Stays nice and cool. And let's see, let's go back to the other stuff. So some of the trims off over here, because I have the seat belt right here that's locked up. This is the part that mounts in the lower part of the, I guess that'd be B pillar. And this mounts to the seat. This side is just locked up and won't come unlocked. Or sorry, this is the seat side. This is the one that mounts down in the B pillar. So this side's what's locked up. This one doesn't obviously retract all the way out, just a little bit. And can't get it unlocked. I tried messing with it. You know, it's just a little faded, so might as well just get a good one from the salvage and put it in. So that side's out, but as you can see, the trim's out and stuff doing that. I will show you the headliner. So we did get a non-sunroof car headliner. As you can see there, no sunroof at all. And it fits pretty good. It's not meant for this car. The 940, I think, is actually a ½ inch or so longer. So it, you know, some things don't fit upright, but it fits, and the interior panel's perfect on both sides. And what was that? Oh, just a little bit of dust. The rear view mirror on the 940 has a plastic trim that goes around here. You can see the indentation of where it should be. So I'm going to get a plastic trim to put around here to make it look factory. And then the visors, they don't sit up flush all the way on either side. Just, I mean, I could trim down the plastic and it would fit perfect on both of those. Just trim that plastic piece right up there, and then obviously the plastic there so they sit flush. But I don't want to do that. I want to leave everything as factory as possible, and it doesn't bother me really any that those are hanging down. The visors stay up tight, so I'm not too worried. And the 740 dome light, that still fits even the 940 headliner. So got that in. You might have to just move your wires up a little bit. They're like back here, so I had to run them across to make it up to here, but that's no biggie. So that's the stuff we got done on there. Just have to get that seat belt. So we now have a headliner in the car. The only part about it, like once you get the headliner in this front trim here, as you can see all the way across, once you get that headliner in there and push as far forward as possible, the back is actually what's a little bit longer. You can see that the plastic trim in there hangs down just a little bit because it's longer, but it's clipped up as far as it can go. So as you can see here, that trim there doesn't sit like it did on the old headliner. And these here, two of these, the middle one is the OEM one that you take out the quarter turn retainers. These two are just held in there with some like Velcro, just so it fills those holes and looks factory. But other than that, I don't see very big differences in the headliner besides that being longer. Like, you know, you have a little bit of a gap here, and on both sides you have a little bit of a gap between those trim panels. But that was the price I was going to pay to make it look good still on the inside and have the sunroof deleted and sealed. I made it to where this sunroof, if I end up selling the car one day, the next owner can still put that back in, repair the track, and have a working sunroof again. The switch, the wiring, all that is still there. I just didn't want to completely delete that in case something happens and I have to sell it before I can even finish it, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So I left it that way just because, in case that does happen, but fingers crossed we don't want it to happen. So yeah, that's about everything I got done on there. The 87 front lip, I did get some of that done, got it mounted up. I had to cut out about 2 inches right there and plastic weld together that half, but I'm not done with it yet. I got to take this whole bumper off, and I'm going to glass this in as one piece. I'm going to fiberglass all that in with some Dynaglass and fix up these corners to look good, all that good stuff, so we kind of have a one-off bumper. And the Euro plate came in, of course. So I'm going to get that done, make it look good. Got some bumper dye. It's like a paint and a dye mixed, so it doesn't chip off. It actually like soaks into the plastic. So I'm going to get that done, get it all dyed, painted, and all that good stuff, along with the back. Get that dyed and painted to match. This here's the old front lip. I didn't want to get rid of it at all. So just in case I get another bumper like this one and put it back on. So that's the lip on there. Next is mirror replacement. So I'm going to use that same trim and paint both mirrors. I do have that other one sitting right there. So I'm going to paint that to match the bumpers, make it look good. So that'll be a little project that I'm probably going to film. So in case you need to know how to take your mirror off, since there's probably a common issue having these mirrors, having the motors go bad or whatever. I'm going to show you how to take that mirror off in the next video. I just did a little test popping this panel off. These panels here, that video, I'll go over it again. But basically you pull them towards you, and there's two little nubs right there and there that pop into those little pockets. So easy to pop those out. Once you pull them towards you, you have to lift up, pull it this way, lift up and out, and it comes right out. So 3 you have 1, 2, and 3 8mm. Take the mirror off, swap it. Got to take the door panel off if you have power mirrors like this one, and undo the plug. So that's about it on this video. Just wrapping up some of the projects. The headliner, if you want to know how to take it out, that video wasn't going to be good regardless. I had tried my best to film some of it, but that video wasn't going to be a good video due to the fact that I was going to be in the car with a massive headliner. You wouldn't be able to see what was going on in there. But basically what you have to do is, pop off all of your interior trim all the way back. Take off the headliner parts, mirror, visors, and all that. And you got to take the seats out, which you have a little plastic cover that pops off here. It's actually that one right there. Pop that off. Move these little black isolators back. Take a 14 millimeter, and take all 4 bolts out. Pop your little trim panel off back here by just pulling the sides out with a flat blade right there. Pop those out, and the seat has 2 alignment pins in here on each side, one on each side. And you'll want to push the seat back, rails and all. So just grab the seat and push it back and lift up and wiggle, and that seat will come out of those pin slots. And after that, take the center console out, remove this trim, 2 bolts in here, those 2 obviously, pull this whole console out, and you'll want to take both seats out, of course, and put the e-brake down, and take your rubber trim off here, because it gives you an extra ½ inch or almost an inch between here, which is what you need. It's a tight fit getting that headliner in and out. So you'll end up coming through the door sideways at this angle, and you'll slide it in, have all those doors open, and you'll work it back that way. And you have to bend the corner, that back corner over this side. You have to bend it just a little bit to get past the shifter, because I wasn't going to take this side panel off and all that out, which is what you would need to do to not have to bend it. But you can't even tell, it hides behind the interior panel, so you can't even tell that you bent it. So, and it doesn't mess it up as long as you don't bend it and crease it. So you just got to slide it at an angle, get it in there, and then work it up into place, which is not hard with one person, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt trying to get the front slid into that channel at the front window right there. Once you get it slid in, hold it up with your head or one of your hands and try to get it over these back interior panels that go through here on the inside. Get it up in there, and after that you should be golden. Just start putting your pillar trim up and all that, and it'll hold it in place. And don't tighten it up all the way, so you can get in and grab it and shift the headliner back and forth whichever way it needs to go to be centered, and then run all your bolts down and should be good. If you do plan on doing a sunroof delete and need a headliner that's a non-sunroof car, you might be able to find one. I have a 940, maybe a 740, but if you do get a 940 headliner, it is the same shape roughly. It's just about a half inch or an inch longer, so it'll work. It just takes a little bit of effort to get it to work, but if it's what you have access to, then go ahead and use it. I couldn't say no. The headliner I got from Swedish, the owner was nice enough to just give it to me and let me have it. I mean, it didn't need to be recovered or anything. It's a pretty good headliner. So he just let me have it, and I ended up getting a spoiler for my V70, but it's big thanks to them for that. I plan on spending $100 or so on the headliner, and he shocked me and just told me to keep it. So I was very thankful for that. It really helped the process of getting this back together, make it feel more like a complete car. As much as I would have loved to keep the sunroof, the weight that I shed from removing this, I would say, it's probably 50 pounds at most. It's not much, but 50 pounds is 50 pounds. It also reduced my chance of having sunroof issues down the road. But if I've always wanted a slick top too, so I'm going to have that welded in if I get all the body work done. But if I end up saying, you know what, I want the sunroof back, I have it set up now to where I can just put it back to factory with the sunroof and have a working sunroof again. But I didn't plan on it. So it can't sit out in the rain right now because it'll obviously leak a little bit, not much. I mean, where these seals, meet up, it's tight, but a little bit of water could leak in there because that whole tray there had drain tubes on all four corners that water would run out of, and so it wouldn't drip onto the headliner. But as you saw in my last video, the whole underside of the roof has that sound deadener, along with I put weatherproof thermal tape around the whole sunroof, so it shouldn't leak or get anywhere on the headliner, and then that insulation foam is going to help protect that as well. So not too worried about that. So if you guys are wanting to do that to your 740, the 940 headliner works. I think in my last video I showed the bottom before the headliner was up, the bottom side of it and what I did. So that'll help you guys out there. Sitting as flush as possible. It's obviously up just a little bit here. It's more flush at the front, but regardless, there's no riveted in panel, and it looks better to me. So I think that's about it for the video. The fan, I plan on videoing that when I was wiring it up, but I totally forgot to film it. It was my bad on that part. It's pretty straightforward, I still gotta put my grommet back in, but I ran the wires through the hood latch grommet down there, It's the closest to the floor, easy to get wires in, and I ran it in a one of those spools of wire that have two, like the positive, negative, and it's already encased in that hard plastic coating. So I did that, and then just grounded my switch out in the engine bay, just right here. Something that's, you know, not looking too ugly, but more out of sight than anything else, I would say. So that's done. It's drivable, back together. Now I just got to drive it and make sure that engine noise is gone. It should be, but can't guarantee that right now. So fingers crossed that's gone and I can start enjoying this 740 a little more. Next is going to be hopefully full suspension and wheels and tires, get that done, and then start getting stuff for the motor build. All that good stuff, you know, the built bottom end, top end, whole set HX40 turbo, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get it looking good for now, get it dropped, and go from there. I just kind of want it looking clean, low and slow kind of thing while I wait on parts, and you know, do it the slow way because on a budget here. But as always, guys, like the video, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe. Sorry this video was a little on the boring side. There's no real action. It was just me talking about the car and what I did to finish it up. But we should have some good content coming pretty soon. Got some plans for some other vehicles and projects, and the motorized bike. I got the carburetor tuned on it. Finally got that stuff squared away, and it's pretty quick now. It's pretty rowdy. So I'm probably gonna get some videos of me riding that. It's real fun to ride around now. So there'll be some content changes coming up. V70R should be going back together soon, hopefully. Just waiting on my buddy. And that'll be a fun little project. Get it fired up for the first time and let him drive his R for the first time. He's never had a Volvo and has always wanted one, so I think he's going to enjoy it. So, as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.